Hey guys, how's it going? Today I wanted to do a quick video talking about the September 23rd Rapture prediction that is circulating around the prophetic community. We have another date set, for the rapture. This happens every single year. I've seen this so many times in my Christian life. There's a date set and it comes and goes. So I do not believe for a moment that the rapture is going to happen September 23rd. I think September is going to come and go. This always happens, right? There's always like a date that's set. It kind of amps people up. They get excited and then it doesn't happen. And I really think the devil is behind this. I think that this is all him trying to deceive people into trying to think like the end is going to happen, then they're getting disappointed, right, when it doesn't happen. So and also just part of the deception about the futurist deception too, right? Just furthering that deception about that the rapture is yet to happen when it already did happen. Now, as a little seasonist, of course, I believe the rapture happened, the first resurrection, although I do believe of course those believers also need glorified bodies, right, who were both dead after the first resurrection, as well as if it does happen, if all of this unfolds in our lifetime, us, right? If not, then we'll in the future we'll get resurrected and get glorified bodies, right? But obviously the believers who were born after the first resurrection will need glorified bodies. So there will be a rapture in that sense, right? But this is different from, what the futurists think, the rapture and then the tribulation. Like, I guess pre-rapture people think the rapture first, then the tribulation, and then the second coming. And then just generally in futurists think the second coming hasn't happened yet and that rapture hasn't happened. But as little seasonists, we believe it has happened. Now given little season eschatology, it's simply not biblical that there's going to be an imminent rapture. There has to be the battle of Gog and Magog first. So what we're waiting for is really the battle of Gog and Magog. Will it happen in our lifetime? I don't know. It might be, maybe not. I have no idea. But that's what we're waiting for first, this battle, and then the rapture or the resurrection will happen, right? And then the judgment and all that. So that's really the timeline, and so I don't believe that there's going to be a rapture on September 23rd. And that's the thing. I mean, with date setting and stuff like that, you can tell like the devil's behind it, and all these people who jump on this bandwagon and set these dates and stuff like that, they always have an agenda, right? Like they always do it, either to profit off of it, to get money off of it, and then it just amps people up, and then they end up getting disappointed. Now, to be fair, they're the people who like sell their houses and do all this stuff, thinking that the rapture is going to happen. I mean, that's on them technically. I mean, that's it is a little bit silly to do that, right? Like you shouldn't be, you should just keep living your life, right? Don't be focused on a date. However, these people who are teaching this are still, this is still a pretty bad thing to do, right? To get people excited about a date, and then, it just leaves them disappointed when it doesn't happen, right? So that's pretty serious stuff, So, but I've seen this happen so many times where there were dates, and even when I was a futurist back then, even I got deceived at one point with these dates, right? So, anytime someone sets a date and people get all amped up about it, get excited about it, it circulates around, you can almost guarantee it's not going to happen on that date, right? That's just, I've seen that so many times, and the devil is just really busy trying to deceive people. And so I think September will come and go. Now, in terms of date setting, like I don't think God condemns speculating, like thinking, maybe this might happen, maybe not, calculating, like coming up with theories. But I do that on my channel. I don't think God's against that, right? But to definitively say, okay, on this date it's going to happen, or in this year it's going to happen, to say like for sure, or like to really amp people up and to bring their hopes up and think I really think this is going to happen, I'm really sure it's going to happen. If you do that, like, and you're like in a position of authority, that's wrong, right? Like if you're a teacher or whatever, and you're setting these dates in that way. It's okay to speculate and come up with theories. That's fine. I don't think God condemns that at all. But like actually definitively saying it's going to happen on this date, I think that's wrong personally. But yeah, like the Bible says, no man knows the day or the hour, right? So, but yeah, within little season eschatology, we're waiting for the battle of Gog and Magog anyway, right? So, when that happens, then we can probably be pretty sure that the rapture is going to happen soon when the battle of Gog and Magog happens. But until then, who knows, right? I do have a feeling it's going to happen soon, but I don't know, right? I just don't know for sure. So yeah, we'll see, I guess. I hope it happens in our lifetime, but if not, it's up to the Lord, right? Whatever the Lord wills. But yeah, first there would probably be the battle of Gog and Magog, and maybe even persecution. It's unfortunate, but that could, just like the saints were persecuted before us in the Great Tribulation, that can happen. That can repeat in a way again, right? That can happen again before the end of the little season, and that resurrection happens, and the battle of Gog and Magog and stuff. So who knows? But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you, I did have a rapture dream a long time ago, and I do believe it was from God. However, now that I look back, I don't think all the time, rapture dreams, and if it is from God, it means that the rapture is going to happen in your lifetime. That's not always what it's about. Sometimes God gives certain dreams, and it's more sophisticated than just what you see on the outside, right? It could be maybe you're getting saved from something personal in your life or something like that. Maybe it's that kind of resurrection, and he just uses a bodily resurrection for that purpose, right? Maybe you're close to your death, and maybe something happens, then you die, and then that's sort of a rapture, right? People seem to forget that dying is actually like a rapture, right? Dying is a release. I'm not afraid of death. I mean, dying is that means we're out of this sinful world, out of this sinful body, and we're immediately with the Lord, right? So that, in that sense, it's imminent if you think of it that way, right? Just dying to be with the Lord, and that is like a rapture in a sense, but it's not the literal rapture, the bodily resurrection. So I think that sometimes people get carried away, and sometimes dreams can come from God, but it doesn't always mean it is the rapture. It could be, who knows, right? I'm not saying it's not for sure, but it's just important to have an open mind about it, and that's all I'll say. But I do believe the dream I had back in 2020 was from God. I've never had a rapture dream before or after any time. I always pray to God, I ask him about if I could have a rapture dream. I don't think it's in his will, to be honest. So, but I did have it that time, and that's fine. I'll never forget that experience, right? And I know it was from God. I was so comforted, and it wasn't unbiblical in any way, so there's no reason to think it wasn't from God. But it was, it actually felt like I was getting raptured. It felt like I was getting resurrected. It was an out-of-body experience, and it felt so real. You have no idea. I can't even describe it. But in the dream, I think it was in January, February 2020, and it was at first there was some strife going on. There was wind. I was in a car, and I think it was with my family and some people, and then I was in the mall, and then I think I said bye to my mom or something. And who knows, this stuff can be personal. I'm not saying it's all it's related to everyone. It could just be a personal thing that God was trying to show me that will happen maybe in the future. I don't know. But point is, that's what happened. I was saying bye to my mom in a mall. I went in an elevator, and then the elevator started going down. It started going down, and so I was a little bit fearful. Because that can happen with life's ups and downs and stuff, right? Sometimes things can happen. You can fear. Sometimes things might not go the way you think. But then at that moment, when it was going down, I got raptured up, and that's when I felt I saw an angel, and then I lifting me up, and I felt an out-of-body experience. I had a resurrection. I got raptured in that dream at that time. So that was my dream. I think it was February 2020, and I do believe it was from God. But And then I had another dream a few months before that in November 2019, where someone I knew was telling me something big is going to happen in 2020. Something big. It's going to be a huge change, blah, blah, blah. A big change. And then the pandemic happened in 2020. So that was kind of interesting. But anyways, point is, I do believe God does give dreams and stuff like that. But again, we have to be open-minded. It's not always like what we think it is on the surface. So there's that, right? And so, but so I really don't know. I think the end will come soon, but I don't know for sure. I hope it will, but who knows, right? It's up to the Lord. And I don't fall for these dates and stuff like that. And we know as little seasonists, we're not in the futurist camp, so we know these rapture, pre-trib rapture, imminent rapture doctrines are just unbiblical, right? And we know the first resurrection rapture happened already. I think September is going to come and go. And we're in the little season now. I'm waiting for the battle of Gog and Magog, whenever that happens. And then after that would be the rapture, the bodily resurrection for the rest of the dead in Christ, and for those who are still alive on earth, right? And then, of course, the rest of the dead who are wicked will be judged as well, right? So that's my take on that. I don't think there's going to be a rapture on September 23rd. These dates came and went like before. It's just a deception by the devil. And we're in the little season now, and I believe the battle of Gog and Magog has to happen first, whenever that happens, before the resurrection. So hope that helps people. All right, God bless.